Okay, so for your gold sample, I'm going to just do the ring again that we did in class. And I'm going to start off with a line in chocolate brown that is weighted from the right to the left, so that as it comes to the highlight, which is going to be here, it will be a slightly lighter line. This will be a drop-off edge here, so I will leave it dark. I'm going to go with my sienna brown, create a weighted line which goes just a little bit further, and then I'm going to use my goldenrod to go the rest of the way. And I'm going to do the side. Now this is the sienna brown, which will allow me to do a lighter line a little bit easier than the chocolate. And then again the top is done in sienna. Make sure this is parallel, which in this case it's not. Sharp pencils. I like to start with my sienna, coming always from the edge up towards the highlight, and we do a shade. Watch your transitions, make sure they're nice and even. Remember, it's a square top ring, so the transition and the shade should be straight and even. And then I'm going to have a small one coming from this side. Again, highlight is in this zone because of our light location. Remember, layers, we can add color, but we can't take it away very easily. Okay. Now I'm going to add my core shadow here. And again, that's in my chocolate. And then I'm going to do a transition or shade from the edge over top of my core shadow that I just put in, as well as the sienna transition. Now, I'm noticing that my sienna stops here. I want to actually push it a little bit further. So I'm going to make sure that my chocolate brown shading goes even. And I'm going to go back to my sienna because I want to pull it a little bit further along the ring. Again, see this little line right here? This is a transition issue. I need to get rid of that before I move on too far ahead, because if I go to my goldenrod and that transition issue is still there, see, it's a lot less noticeable now. That's what we're looking for. And there's this here. We're just going to try to square this up nicely. I'm going to put a little bit of my chocolate down here. Very little. And actually turn the page. As I said in class, I find it easier to go from one side. A little less messy, I think. A little bit of chocolate will deepen that side a bit. And if I look, if this is where my highlight is going to be, I'm going to pull this sienna just a little bit higher up on this side. Again, from roughly 20% to 0, because I can add a little bit. I'm just making it go to 0 on this side a bit better. And I'm going to take my goldenrod, and I'm going to take it from the back side. Actually, I'm going to start on this side here. Take it all the way from the edge, pull it forward. Remember, you're still doing a transition. You're doing a shading from dark goldenrod down to nothing. You can see how it's starting to get a little bit more color, which is the nice thing about the goldenrod. I'm still thinking about where my highlight is going to be, so I'm going to go from the other side now with my goldenrod all the way from the edge all the way from the edge and bring it forward. Bring the shadow of the goldenrod just a little bit further, just like that. Now, again, this is going to be our highlight zone. And as we discussed, always check, make sure your pencils are clean, especially with the yellow. And I'm going to leave a little area right where the core highlight's going to be. I'm going to draw it the opposite direction towards the edge. Make sure, if you look at this, you can see right here there's this lighter non-goldy color. That is because I haven't gone over with my canary over the whole thing. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm going to draw it from the middle, leaving a little space because I want to be able to blend some white right where my core highlight is. And that's going to let me smudge basically with my white, because as you know, when we get into using, here we go, when we get into using the gouache, it's a really crisp line, and we don't really want to have perfectly crisp. So this is my core highlight right there. I'm just going to put it in all the way to the edge. What I'm doing with this is that little white area is actually going to take over a little bit of yellow color. It's not going to be perfectly white in a second. Now, when I go in with my paintbrush, as soon as I find that, there we go. I will be able to put in the actual highlight. So this area here represents the diffusion of the light source across the ring, whereas this line that I'm putting in right now in gouache is the actual reflection of the light. Okay. Now I can also thin my gouache a little bit more. I took it straight from the bottle again. The container, which, as I said, tends to be a little bit pasty. So this is my chocolate, and it has only gone from here to roughly here. And again, there's some chocolate here, but it's gone very small. This is my sienna, which has gone right from the edge to about here. And same thing on the other side. Maybe a little bit less than that. To about there. And then my goldenrod, again, it came from all the way back here. And it went just a little bit further. So this represents the shading. I'm going from this dark goldenrod up to, and it's coming a little bit further each time. So you can see how this transitions here, and that represents this area right here. And then finally, my canary, leave a little space, and it's actually going to go the other direction, like this. And then I don't know if this is going to show up, but my white is here with a little bit of shading in both directions that way. And then my core highlight goes in, and then you have successfully made a ring. The last thing that we need to do, and because I have a black Prismacolor now, I'm going to add in the little wavy cut line. So when I add this cut line in, I'm going to swing it through my highlight and back. It's very important that this is done with a sharp pencil. And I should have really done it before I put that highlight on, but and then I go back. Now this highlight is actually going to, first of all, this should go right to the edge. So I reassert that. And along this edge here, there's going to be a little bit of light that gets caught. Now, I'm of the opinion, if you are struggling with your paintbrush and you can't get this super fine highlight right here, then don't put it on, because you don't want to take the chance of messing up the whole ring for one tiny little highlight. Okay, so that's the gold ring, and then I'm going to do another video of the silver ring.